Okay, welcome everyone to my little studio. And here are some of the images that I just took. And some of them you already saw in the slideshow in the video. And I'm going to choose one of these images to edit. I'll show you my workflow, how I edit images. And then I'll make a print. And I'll try to go slowly so you can see what I do. Today these images, there were not atmosphere on the day. It was a very hazy day, no clouds, so we're not going for a drama or anything today, unfortunately. So I'm going to choose to edit, I think, this picture. I think I'm gonna edit this picture because I like the S curve, here. You can see, and I like how the frame is full, and it kind of tell this line take you to the lighthouse. This was right before the sunset, so this file is the raw file, and I'm going to show you how I do first. So the first things that I always do is check the lens correction and remove chromatic aberration. That's always the first step that I do on all my images, because the profile, you can see how it changed, and always I remove the chromatic aberration. My lens doesn't have very bad chromatic aberration, but I remove it anyway. So that's the first step that I always do. Second, I'm going to my main panel. Like I will do some global adjustment and then some more detailed adjustment on some of them. Anything on this main panel will affect globally the image, and then I will adjust with the brushes and the filters. I will adjust the specific areas of the image if I want. And in this case, I think the image looks okay. It's a kind of glowy, sunset here. This orange cliff was really nice. So what I'm gonna do first, even though that I always try to have my tripod very level, it's not very accurate, but I'm gonna check the horizon. It's very, very important to have a horizon. You can have two options. You can press this auto button here, and sometimes does a great job. Most of the times that does. You can see by those lines that is pretty accurate. Or you can opt to get the ruler here, make a point, horizon, straight line, and it will straighten up. Okay. So I'm not very happy with that, so I'm gonna do it again. So I am going to reset this. I'm gonna get the ruler, I'm gonna point, and that. What you have to have in mind is when you photograph straight tall buildings, your depending of your focal length, sometimes you will have these distortions on the buildings, and you will have to we will have this perspective like the building is leaning. So to do that, you can go to transform, and you can place auto, and it will maybe do a job for you, maybe not. So it's not very good. So this is a vertical. I grab here. It's kind of like correcting a little bit. Horizontal. Let's just attach. I think so. There. It's pretty straight right there. I think it's pretty straight. Okay, so right there. So now I'm gonna crop in tiny bit those pixels right there, and always cropping is the last step that I do. In this case, we're going to print this image. I believe that we're gonna do a 2:3 ratio because I wanna include pretty much all this. So let's go to the basic panel. I think my histogram here, there's a lot of details, a little bit darker. I like to shoot the pictures a little tiny darker and then open up. So I'm going to recover a little bit the exposure, not so much. Oh, I forgot. Let's recap. So I like to work when it's landscape on Adobe Landscape. Why? Because see how saturated all the colors are, and it makes it more popping, and that's the way that I like. I mean, you can choose your way, but this is the way that I like. White balance. This was shot almost at sunset time and it's daylight, so it will be 5500 Kelvin. The temperature, I think is fine. I like that. So once again, we're gonna open up a little bit the exposure right there. Don't like the images too contrasted, so I don't touch the contrast much. Highlight, I'm gonna reduce it a little bit. Shadows, doesn't have many shadows, but I'm gonna open attach right there. I mean, this image looks really nice like it is right there. You zoom in, we have some garbage right there, so I'm gonna grab the tool, clone tool. I'm gonna crop it. Perfect. So it's always good to like, the image is very sharp, very nice, and I think it's good right there. So I am happy. This was shot at f11 1/40th of a second, ISO 238 millimeter. So then I'm going to move the white slider, attach right there, black slider. So this image, that's why I don't touch the contrast button slider. I mean, because the image is already very contrasty because the sun was super strong, and this orange glow there, it makes a contrasty image. So then I think I don't need to touch anything else. I'm happy with what, if I cool it down a little bit, it will be better. I think that it's good. A little bit cooler. It's good. Maybe that hint. And I think I'm happy with that. I always like something to try, the camera calibration color, you know, to remove some of the other. You know, if you move the blue slider, you can change the image and take some saturations as well to make it more realistic and not too oversaturated. I think that's good. Then I go to the HSL panel and pick up that. And then here I work individually the color, the warmth, and the saturation on that. I go to light up a little. I think this image looks okay so far. So something that I skip. Your camera sensor is always gonna get with time to time some dust on it, and I can see a spot right there. So I'm gonna remove all that. My camera, it's okay, it's very clean, but also when you use filters, sometimes some particles of the, you know, on the air gets into this. But this is I don't know if this is a camera sensor or my lens has something inside. I don't know. That's it. That's pretty much done. It's all corrected right there. So you know what, I don't want to do too much on this image because I think I like it. And another thing that I like to do is remove the sharpening. I don't like to sharpen my image on, because Lightroom already give you by default like a 40% sharpen. My image is fine. If I need to print this and I want to sharpen this, and I put it on into Photoshop and I sharpen accordingly for whatever I'm gonna post. If it's gonna be for Instagram, it's gonna be one way. If it's going to be for print, it's gonna be another way to sharpen it. But that's up to you. So I think I'm very happy with what I did here. So you can see that I didn't do much of this. The thing I like is natural. I don't like to add. So this is how the image will look like. I'm going to crop it a little bit, but I'll do that on a 4:5 ratio. So, and I'm trying to get that S curve. Actually, let's try a 2:3 ratio, the original way. In my camera, the Nikon D750 should add a ratio of 2:3, and so I'm gonna keep it on the original ratio, and I'm going to show that S curve right there. There's not a magic cropping or an excellent way to crop images. Every picture will be different. So that's how the image will look. I think I'm okay. So I'm gonna do a few more steps because I don't like how bright it is right here. So I want your attention right here. There's many options and way that you want to do, but for the sake of this video, I'm gonna keep it short. I'm going to use the brush, and I'm gonna use the burn brush. I'm gonna like darken this side right here because you know I am in the wrong time of the year. Super hot day was out there, and all these flowers are already dead by the heat. You can see that the sun hit this pretty much constantly. So I'm darkening this area right here, so your eyes goes through the main. So I'm gonna slightly underexpose that area right there. I'm creating some there. I'm gonna create another one, but this time I'm gonna dodge it. Dodge and burn is the perfect. So, and I'm gonna be very gentle on this water right here. Right now I'm using my mouse, but also I have my Wacom tablet, which is very good for this type of situations, you know, because you can be more precise. So I like this rocky right here. So see how I'm giving a little bit more dimension. You can see before and after. It's a little bit. I'm gonna create a new one. I'm gonna light up here because that's where the sun was hitting, and right there. So or I'm gonna create another one, and I'm gonna paint the water a little bit. And then this one, I'm painting the water right here. I am going to give the water a little bit warm, just because the sun is a touch warm. It's alright. I like that way. Like I said, on editing, it's everyone has a different approach. This is my approach. I never use preset. I think preset kills your creativity, and I never use preset. I'm a little bit concerned about this horizon, but I think it's straight. Let's check it up. It is. It's because the mountain's behind, but it's pretty right there. Now it's straight. But once again, it's your preference, but always has to, this is one of the photography rules. Your horizon always has to be straight, you know. You can see Catalina Island right there, barely. You can see behind here Catalina Island, all this haze stuff. That's kind of like why I'm confused, because I don't know where exactly the horizon is, but I think it's pretty straightforward right there. So this is how the image will look like, and I'm going to use my Canon Pro 1000 to print this, and I'm going to send it to Photoshop first because I want to do my final detail like the sharpening. So Command E on my keyboard, and I'll send it to Photoshop. Open a Photoshop. Perfect. So I'm gonna Command J to duplicate the layer, and it's pretty. I think I kind of like it. I mean, I like it. It's very thing. There's many things that I can do here, but for example, I can dodge and burn this area right here and light it up a little bit more. This you know, green grass patch of grasses or bush, or you know, kind of gently do it like that. But you know, once again, that's up to you, however you wanna. For this type of video, I think this is okay. I'm highlighting that. I'm going to highlight the beach one more time, the shore. So that's create a little dimension. I'm using, by the way, TK panel, which is highly recommend to have that. It's super easy for everybody to work with. Tony Copper, I hope I pronounce it right. So I'll see what I'm doing here. I'm going and make it a little darker to create separation and dimension, and you know, the shadows and stuff like that, but super gentle. I have my opacity at 30% and my flow at 63. Super gentle. It's better to do it gentle and then adjust that it goes super hard at once. The gentle touches are better. So I think that is good. What's going on? All right. So that you can add a orton effect if you want. You can do many things. You can add a vignette, you can add a border, whatever you want to do. In this case, I think I'm happy with it. So I'm going to create another layer. I'm going to press Command, Option, Shift E, and it creates a whole layer right there. And I'm going to filter, sharpen, smart sharpen. And here I check, you know, all my detail, and however I like it. That's pretty sharp right there. It's pretty sharp. It's good. So I'm trying to keep the radius at 1 pixel, because higher that you put the pixel, see how fake HDR looking is. So I try to keep it at 1. The ratio, the pixels, and the ratio is kind of nice. 230, noise resistance 15, remove Gaussian blur. I'm happy with that. I press OK. It's a pretty nice sharp image. Then I flatten all these, and this is the way I do it. I'm going to edit, and this is important for me. Just I want to have all. If I want to put this image onto the web, I have to make sure that I convert to the profile sRGB, because I work in Pro Photo RGB. So I convert this to sRGB, click OK, it changed. So now my picture is ready to be posted everywhere, and whenever I print, the colors are gonna come out like I see it right now. So then what I do, I click, I save this image in a different folder. I save it as a JPEG onto my disk, and I'm gonna name it Lighthouse. And I'm going to put it on, for now, just to show you, on my desktop. Save it on the desktop. Okay, then closing this, and the software that I use to print is Canon Professional Print and Layout. Yes, many people prefer the print it from Lightroom or Photoshop. I prefer to print it from Canon Professional Print and Layout. So far hasn't given me any issues, and the rendition of the image is super really close what my screen is showing to me, what my monitor is showing to me.